Righty ho, hello folks. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome along. It's IFTA. It's Insight from the Isles. It's me, David Shukri. It is him, Andrew Arnold. Hello, Andrew.
Hello, David. How are you?
I'm very well, mate. I'm very well. It's a beautiful morning here in Sydney. Don't it? It's probably not a beautiful morning where you are, is it?
Uh, and we're, 6 weeks into 2026, and we've already got the weather chat. Great.
It's very strange. You've got people. People's note takers are in the waiting rooms. Okay. Well, let's see how we get on. Look, it's great to have you all here. Can you believe it's what? What is it now? 17th of February already. Isn't that a little bit scary? It's my birthday in 2 days' time, everyone. That's how quick the year is going.
It doesn't look a
Feel
day over
free.
28.
No, no, exactly. Well, it's lucky because I'm not. So that's good. Feel free to send me your birthday wishes in the chat. And if you don't wish to do that, just send us a thumbs up. Let us know in the chat right now how you doing. You feeling good? I hope the year's going well. Where are you? Where are you joining us from today? We we've had a little break. Had a break over Christmas. Hope everyone had a good break and is having a good start to the year. Things are busy. I was just looking through the news this morning. You will probably, if you're on this side of the ditch, no doubt have seen Coles getting dragged over the coals once again by the ACCC. Pretty sort of sensationalist headlines coming out. Coles accused of utterly misleading grocery prices by ACCC. So they're gunning for them again in court this morning, and sticking with price, of course, Aldi is cutting prices. Big news over the last couple of weeks or so, cutting prices on 300 items and reducing range as well, which is also very interesting. A lot of conversation about the potential risk to them of cutting back on some of the branded options. I don't know if anyone picked up on my LinkedIn post yesterday, but I commented on this yesterday, and it's very interesting to note from an Aldi shopper's perspective some of the priorities that they actually see that they would like the retailer to focus on. So check that one out on LinkedIn. Haven't covered that one today. Maybe that's for another time. What else is going on, Andrew? You were telling me some great news for sports lovers.
Oh, absolutely. I'm actually just really chuffed about the fact that I'm going to be able to go to State of Origin at Eden Park next year. So, for those of you who haven't heard that news, Auckland gets a game in state versus state, mate versus mate next year. I have had the pleasure of going to one State of Origin game in the past. Unfortunately, I am a Queensland supporter, for those of you who are a New South Wales supporter. So I unfortunately went to a game at Sydney and Homebush that Queensland got smashed in. So hoping for something different next year when I get to go and view the Maroons at Eden Park. But no, that was
You've
a big thing for me.
you've just lost half the audience by declaring that, I
Probably,
suspect,
but then
but
again, I probably lost half the audience by saying I was a Kiwi. So no,
that's probably true. No, everybody loves you. Everybody loves you. Well, people are very quiet. I haven't had anyone actually commenting anything in the chat. It's all about people's AI note takers. Give us a thumbs up. Let me know if anyone's there. The count says we're well over 100 now. We're recording to be shared this meeting. We For those across the pond. I somebody from across the pond. Good Lord. No, that's not the pond, is it? Anyway, we
different
won't
one.
send out the record. Do we send out? We do send out the recording.
Yeah, we
Yes, we
did
will
that
share the
recording.
recording.
Yeah.
Yes, probably next week sometime, Fiona. So yes, you will get that. Um, but all the reason not to miss it live. It just packs an extra punch if you come along live. So I'm going to share a screen now, and we'll get into it. For those of you who are new, what we do is Andrew and I go out and look at a bunch of stuff in stores. We comment about it on LinkedIn. We add some value. We hope we throw in some shopper perspectives, occasionally the odd statistic or two, but we focus very much on the implications and the so whats and what does it mean for people like you out in the real world. And then we pick some of those and we talk about them in a bit more detail and we have a chat. Good stuff. Ben's there, Anthony's there, Natasha's there. We've got some thumbs up. I've managed to extract 3 thumbs ups from the audience. Keep them coming, folks. It's good to know that you're there. So, life's better together. I think this is always really worthwhile. We see so much in the news about price and about range rationalization. It is well worth, I think, remembering how things work best in the FMCG world. We'll touch on that. Then we're going to go through some of those examples, and we'll share some of our perspectives on some of the things we've seen. We've got a get on the bus example. We've got some more peas that we're going to show you, and we've got another one about ice cream that we'll get to in just a moment. Before that, got another thumbs up. Thank you, Fiona. It's brilliant. They're flooding in now. We're going to try another way to get a bit of engagement. Something that's been on my mind, I've posted about this as well, is proteinification, and how many products are now featuring extra protein, how big the protein claims are getting. Right, Andrew, we were talking about this the other day. It was 5-10 grams. Now it's 15. I've seen one that was 30, 45. I'd love to know in the chat, what is the most out there product that you have seen on your travels that is shouting about extra protein? Just stick in the chat. Don't have to name a brand. Just what type of product. We saw one from our very own leader. I must be getting early on to Alzheimer's or something. I've gone completely blank. Anyway, he was out in Italy. Roger.
Yeah.
Dear,
you're watching, Roger, sorry.
Roger Jackson. Good, all right. Apologies, Roger. Apologies. I didn't really forget your name. And he saw it on coffee, I think. Protein-enhanced coffee. But we got some stonkers coming in. Protein wine, protein popcorn. Is that for real? Protein water. Yes, Lou, I've seen that for sure. A couple of protein waters. Protein wine? Is that for real? Yogurt, yeah, lots of that, isn't it? I don't know. I do not know. I want to see it. If you can get a picture, stick us a picture for next time, and we'll do a whole episode on protein. However, for now, let's keep going. So, quick reminder: what is this all about? At the base of all of this, we have a bit of fun and we talk about some different things, and hopefully that adds some value. That's what people tell us, which is why we keep doing it every 8 weeks or so. The olden days, the old school was this. Especially if you were a brand, you do all your brand work, you put a category spin on it, and then you go and sell it to the retailer if you possibly can. I've been on that side of the table. I was a retailer many, many years ago, and I had all the brands coming in and go, oh, you want this, it's great, it's amazing. Oh, it's good for your category, promise gov. That was the old way of doing things. And then we became a little bit more sophisticated. We started going, well, we're going to have to come in with a bit of a category plan. It's going to have to sort of, we'll run them in parallel, mate. That'll do it. That'll make them think that we thought category from the get-go. Still basically a sell into the retailer. And then, of course, where we are helping people, my team, Andrew's team, we ourselves are helping teams internet week in and week out, is to put shoppers at the heart of this. That shared purpose, that shared goal, getting product into a basket, into a cart, into a trolley, requires that deep understanding of shopper. And we see it time and time again. When you're in that place, joined up planning, and shoppers are at the heart of it, that's when the category thinking and the brand thinking and the alignment starts to come together with retailers. We've run a whole bunch of workshops. If you're on the line, and we ran a workshop with you in the last 6 months or so, Natalie and my team particularly has done a bunch. Hello, it's good to have you with us. We get fantastic feedback from these things when we run them internally, and then you take them out and you talk to the same agenda with your retail partners, because the agenda is, how can we satisfy the shopper better? That's the common agenda. So have a think. We've done this as a poll. I'll just ask you again, think about maybe the last 6 months. Where do you feel you've spent most of your time? We don't always spend our time in joined up planning. Of course, that's not the way things are. We live in a real world and things change. But certainly the more time you can be spending in joined up planning, the better. You've been running a bunch of these as well, Andrew. What's your perspective on how do you think things are moving in the direction of joined up planning?
Oh, look, as you said, we live in the real world, so it's not that every single client and every single supplier I come across is necessarily over to the right-hand side there, but there are more now. There are definitely more now. So it's pleasing to see that, because the way I look at it is that it's not only just benefiting a retailer relationship or anything like that, it's also benefiting your own business, because it means that you're actually putting shopper at the beginning of the process rather than coming in at some point further on to not necessarily tick a box, but to have a really clear idea about what the shopper needs are as distinct from the consumer needs are. Because, as we've said a number of times, David, your marketing efforts need to focus on what the consumer message should be and what the shopper message should be. And that shopper message is not necessarily just limited to in-store. It can also be an external comms piece as well. So, yeah, seeing more of it, but I'd love to.
You have said that a number of times, Andrew. I know. Heard you say that.
I've broken record time.
That's very true. It's very true. Well, absolutely. It's the marrying up of the two things, isn't it? It's the ability to go, hey, this is how we effectively drive feet into your store, and then when we're in store, this is how we can achieve growth for both of us. And we see it happening more and more. So with that, let's there we go. Look, don't want to be there, don't want to be there, you want to be there. Alignment is much better. So we'll dive straight in now to our first example, a little something that you have spotted out in the wild. Andrew, tell us all about it, mate.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is probably one of my favorite activations I've seen in the last, certainly since Christmas anyway. This was taken, I think, about 3 weeks ago. It was right in the middle of the back to school activations that some stores, some chains were doing. And it stood out for me mainly because it was just, ticking a couple of really strong boxes for me. One, there's the visual element. The visual element is, speaks for itself. It was, I don't know, a couple of meters long, really, really big. You could barely miss it. It was well sighted because it wasn't necessarily blocking an aisle and making it hard to get it down. It was in the part of the store that made a lot of sense, in the sense of being able to get a bit of focus on it. But it also was not cluttered, and that was the thing I really liked about this the most, is that it's just nice and clean. The message is very, very clear. This is a back to school time, end of January, beginning of February. You're thinking about school, you're thinking about what am I need the kids, get the kids ready for in terms of what's going in lunches and everything else. It just made a whole bunch of sense, and it just stood out really, really well for me. And it also raised an interesting question for me over this side of the Tasman. Now, David, feel free to comment about what it's like over in Australia at the moment. But what we have over here at the moment in New Zealand is very much two different modes of thought amongst the grocery companies in terms of how much you actually do in terms of in-store activation. You got one, which is Woolworths, where this was taken, which allows on off-location displays and allows that theatre aspect in this form. And then you have Foodstuffs that pretty much do not allow this. So their in-store theatre is limited to certain types of activations like floor media, like aisle fins, and bits and pieces like that. Nothing major on the floor like this. Now, in my post, when I actually put this up there, I did say something on the lines of, either way is fine. Some people will like it this way, some people will like it that way. I come down on liking this stuff because it ticks boxes that a clear aisle or clear floor policy can't necessarily do for the categories where it matters.
Yeah. That's what it boils down to. Is in my perspective, it's doing it where it adds the most value. You look at the impact that it's going to have category by category. I was just going to say, just commenting on this photo, I don't know if it's the perspective of the photo, but it looks like there is a massive amount of space in this store between that meat racking at the back and wherever the next thing is behind you. Is it just the perspective?
It's more perspective. It's more perspective more than anything else.
Okay.
I mean, most Woolworths over here do have a reasonable amount of gap between the back end aisles and the meat counters. The fresh on the back wall. I mean, there are some that it's not going to be a massive gap. Like, for example, where I live on the North Shore, I wouldn't have expected to have seen this in a store like Woolworths Maringi Bay because that's quite a small one. But I would have thought other stores in my general vicinity, like Greville Road, like Milford, like Takapuna, would have seen some kind of activation like this because they have, they do have a reasonable amount of space if they're not, one of those extra small stores.
Well, tell us, folks, if you're watching now, what's your perspective? How is this playing out differently in different retailers in Australia? I'd say bits and pieces in each of the big two. There's something actually. My Woolies that I hang out most in because it's nearest our office over at Brookvale has done something which I don't think I've ever really seen, but they have this sort of fixation with a kind of confectionery. I can only describe it as a barrier. It's kind of at the front of the store between the checkouts and where the aisles start, the self checkout, and it sort of funnels you in there. But what it does is it blocks about 2/3 of the front passage through the store. So what you get is people kind of all queuing up, waiting to go around it. and I've never really seen anything like that interrupts the flow of traffic in such well, frankly, quite an aggravating way. Like people are just sort of trying to get past it, trying to get past it. And then at the back of the store, they don't have this sort of amount of space, but they do have a lot of displays. They have a lot of bakery tables as well. And so I think on that level, I do like these. I like this kind of theatre a lot. I've commented on them myself. I've seen them. We see them in bread. I tell you what, shout out to the Simplot guys. They do this really well on tuna and canned fish over here. I've commented on those a few times. But obviously, the balance is when we start to aggravate people, and there's a queue of people with trolleys trying to wait, and it's sort of one through. That's when you're probably gone a little bit too far. But picking it in the right categories certainly makes a lot of sense, and putting some effort into to adding that theatre and that something that's going to make you stop makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think the other thing I would say about this too is very often when you do a plan like this and you're talking to a retailer and say, look, we need to make a big splash, we're going to do something massive on this scale, etc., you generally default towards the front of the store because that's where the majority of the traffic is going to see you first, right? So in this case, this was at the back of the store, and I loved the fact that it was the back of the store because it had clear air. Because the front of the store, because of all the back-to-school activations that were happening, because of all the Woolworths Bricks activations that were happening at the front of the store, it was very cluttered up there. It was quite difficult to navigate through it cleanly, like you were saying before, David, with the confectionery, maze that you were describing. That's kind of like what the front of the store was where I saw this one. So the fact is, this was the only thing in the back end of the store. There was nothing else. When you walk past the end of that, the end of the bus, and you look towards where the dairy and the cheese and everything was, nothing. Clear air, completely open. So this was able to stand out. You would have seen it from one side of the store to the other side of the store. And okay, top-up shoppers may not have missed this, or may have missed this because they weren't necessarily going that deep into the store, depending on what they were getting. But if you're on a main shop and this was up for a few weeks, you can't have failed to have made the impact that you were looking to try and make.
There's I've got to say something, and I can't back this up in evidence from any data that we have.
Random assertion.
Personal perspective. Personal assertion. I tend to find if you go into a store like that where you describe this, and this is sitting in a nice bit of space, and it's not cluttered, and the arteries of the store aren't all clogged up. I feel as though it brings this sense of calm amongst shoppers, and a sense of enjoyment when there is some open space. And I feel that the inverse happens when stores are too cluttered and too crowded, and there's too much product, and there's boxes, and there's racking, and they're trying to restock, and then you've got some of this stuff as well. And it just seems to sort of add, maybe this is just me, I don't know, but it seems to add to the sense of tension and wanting to get in and out, and not exploring the ranges where we know people want to explore ranges. Obviously, that's not every category, but there are definitely those categories where people would be more inclined to browse. And I feel like it's almost like having like you have white space on a slide. You just sort of go, and you carry on down your way. You've seen this great bus thing, grabbed a product or two, and you carry on along your way with a more serene mindset. So I don't know. 10-minute chat if you think I'm just making up random things. But what do you think?
I don't think you're making random things. So I mean, I don't want to linger on this much longer because we've got other stuff we want to talk about.
Yeah.
But even today, I saw a post from Liam Gilbert. Now I don't know if Liam's on the actually on the invite today, whether or not he's here. But
good man, former colleague of mine.
Yeah, another former colleague of yours. But I saw his post about aisle takeovers in the UK, and what he was showing was that aisle of just all the chips brands, and there was no aisle. It was just one bay after another, fully dressed up with everything there. And I think his caption was, "I really hope this doesn't come to Australia." And look, again, you can have your opinion as to how effective those things are. I think those things are effective in isolation. I don't think they're effective when they're all together like that. But like what you were saying, so the white noise or the white space, it can have a calming effect. I do agree. It's more impactful.
It is more effective. Exactly. Anything that is shouted in your face too much loses impact. Just finally, before we move on, then I thought I'd pull out just from an Australian perspective, top categories that are bought from a separate display elsewhere in the store in Australia, we've got chilled soup at number 1, nuts at number 2, barbecue chicken 3, kids confec, and fresh ready meals at 4 and 5, just to give you an idea of where people are buying. I'll give you a moment, if you wish, Andrew, to dig out your numbers if that's where you're going, but we'll carry on for the minute. Carry on. And I will go with this one. This is from a couple of months ago, and it caught my attention for a couple of reasons. I like the look and the feel of this. Obviously, Coles is doing this now still, and I noticed another new one that popped up in my local in Forestville the other day. Interesting because yes, I like the look. Cole created a bit of conversation because people were asking what seed beans were. So that was interesting. It was I think a new term for a lot of people. A seed bean is a pulse, but not all pulses are seed beans, I think is what the conclusion I came to. But the other thing, go on, Andrew. You just
sorry, aghast, you lost me. But anyway, carry on.
Yeah, well, that's what a lot of people were thinking about seed beans. I don't think they knew that a chickpea was a seed bean. But anyway, the thing that was interesting, particularly for me, was this dynamic between promotions and EDLP, and the question, of course, being, well, how much does EDLP matter to Aussie shoppers? And the answer is rather a lot, and probably on the average category, rather a lot more than it is given credit for. We have over many years asked this question: how important are offers? How important is fixed price assurance? And in Australia, fixed price assurance has consistently come out more important across all categories than offers. In our very most recent State of the Nation that I was delivering sort of in the last 6 months or so, we've just started to see that almost level pegging on the two, but that's the first time we've seen it. And interestingly, it's very different dynamic to what we see in it's the same in New Zealand. I think you'll back me up on that, Andrew, but very different to what we see in amongst UK shoppers and Irish shoppers and US shoppers. There, the emphasis is much more on offers and the importance of offers, and so it's just really interesting that I love when we see this. I think it's really interesting to see it on own brand, on private label, retailer brand products, which I did see recently as well. Because if you want to shout about a value message, then that seems to me to be a very good way of doing it, and it's proprietary, and it's differentiating, and so on and so on and so on. And we know that it's as important, if not more important, on average to shoppers in the average category. So it's good to see that. And then conversely, and I haven't put this one up, I think I did put this one up, might be on LinkedIn as well. I was in a retailer the other day, went down the drinks aisle, took about a 6 or 7 second video. Did you see this one? Of that aisle. I challenged anyone to find a product that didn't have a yellow ticket on it. Every single product had some sort of promotion. And the question therefore then is, well, if everything's got a yellow ticket on it, is anything really on promotion, or does the whole level of the category just step down? Thoughts, Andrew?
Would you like me to be a little bit controversial here?
Well, just a little bit, mate. Not
just a little bit, just a little bit. Well, look, I'll back you up. Firstly, on your assertion around fixed low price versus offers. So it's the same story in New Zealand. Fixed low price is more important than offers. Now, there's a couple of things here. One, Australia and New Zealand are the only 2 countries in the whole shopper intelligence universe. I mean, there might be a couple others where this is the case, but as far as we've looked, they're the only 2 countries in the shopper intelligence universe where fixed low price is more important than offers. Which 2 countries in the world are routinely held up as being the ones who have the highest share of sales on promotion?
You put it in the chat if you like, but
so
yes.
Now again, I say this a lot too. Correlation and causation are not the same thing, but kind of hard to ignore that little fact.
It is. It's very.
So to your point, David, if you walk down an aisle and there's a sea of yellow tickets, or there's a sea of promotional tickets, or the rest of it, what actually is on promotion, it's hard to know. Maybe that is why allied to the fact that if it's not on promotion, then suddenly the price difference between what it was on normal shelf and promotion is actually sometimes quite a big difference. If you happen to be unlucky in your timing as to when your fridge runs out or your pantry empties and you have to go buy something in particular and it's not on promo, then maybe that's possibly why shoppers are asking a lot more for EDLP in Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah. And it ties into the other metric, the other question related to this that we ask, which is about how important it is for me to be able to identify value in the category. And as we've said many times before, and I think the best thing we can do is to keep reinforcing this message. That means what I get for the money, because it clearly isn't just show me a big saving on a ticket and I'm happy. It's being able to identify what is good value for me in the category. Oh, now clearly, if you follow that through and everything's got a promotional sticker, then it's very difficult to identify what's good value because you've got to do all the calculations. And this is a twofer, and this is a 40% off, and this is a save two, and the cognitive load is enormous. And actually, what that also does is then reduces the entire discussion down to $1, $1.50, $2. And there are a whole bunch of other things that play into that identifier value: premium, quality, authenticity, provenance, all of those other factors that go into making a great product that you or I want to put in our basket. And consistently we see that being clouded, being covered up because of the focus on the price. And coming back to this point, there is definitely grounds saying, well, actually, there's components of certain categories, and there are certain categories at a total level where the fixed low price message is worth amplifying. I can hear my phone buzzing. I'm going to turn that off. Just as I look down, as in people tend to buy from a repertoire, so you don't have to look at the whole category price tickets when you shop just your repertoire. Thoughts on that, Andrew? Just as we wrap this one up.
Yes, there are a lot of categories. There are a lot of categories where there is a repertoire, where a shopper is very much in the case of I have 2, 3, 4, 5 brands or products or whatever it is that I swap between, or happy to swap between, or happy to be as part of the consideration set. However, and there's always a however to this, is that if you do not know if your category is one of those, then you actually are shooting a little bit in the dark. So again, I'm not sure what category, Alison, sorry, that you might be referring to, because you have the experience in that category or a number of categories, but there's going to be a heap of them out there where that's not the case. And we know that because we have the category data just to say that. So sometimes repertoire brand is meaningless to a shopper. They actually just want one brand or one product, or the brand itself is actually meaningless, and all they're after is something other specifically about the category or the product range. So yeah, there's definitely some situations where that will be the case, but there's a lot of others where it's not. And it's just about knowing where your category fits in the grand scheme of things. I mean, I would say every other price does not factor in to every single category. Doesn't even factor into every single part of certain categories. But if you know where it matters more, then you don't need to be worried if a retailer comes to you and asks, or in some cases strongly asks, for an EDLP strategy, because it might actually be the right thing for the category. So it's just about knowing. It's about knowing what the shopper needs are in that any particular category at any given time.
That's right. Yeah, it's absolutely. It's a continuum, and the category that ranks number one for planning to buy one of my usual brands is a completely different score and scenario to the one that's number 199, which I'm trying to pull up, but I'm having some connectivity issues. So while I wait for that, shall we carry on?
Let's carry on.
We'll move on to example number 3, which will be shared with you momentarily by Mr. Andrew Arnold, who's interestingly featured on this decal on the floor.
Oh, are you talking about the fact that the person in the decal got bowled behind their legs? Oh,
yeah.
Based on my season so far, that's pretty much what's happened every single time I played. But anyway, that's all right. Look, I really like this one, and this one I think was a pre-Christmas one. So this, if you're in New Zealand, this is back when the weather was actually okay. Certainly not now. Weather Chat, TM, trademark.
Love it.
So this, the hardest thing about the freezer or the chilled or basically anything with a door like this is standing out. It's very, very, very difficult. Just the whole mechanics of it. The fact is you're glass, which is sometimes reflective more so than not. Lights are shining on it and all the rest of it. If the lights are not working within the freezer or the chiller door, sometimes that can be an impediment. It's also not sticking out because when a shopper is walking down the aisle, all they can see are the doors usually. And so their field of vision, their ability to see things out of the corner of their eyes is actually a little bit reduced when you actually have a physical barrier between yourselves and the products. So anything that you can do to make freezer or chiller stand out has to be applauded. And I thought this one was a really good one. And it was really good for me because of the fact that there was two aspects to it. You had both the door and you had the floor media, but also for me, the color scheme worked. Now, the color scheme worked for me mainly because of the floor, because the floor was the color that it is. So you can see it stands out quite really, really nicely there. If it had been a lighter floor, oh, Dave, lovely pictures of your kids coming up there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just every now and then. But hey, look, it adds to it because they're, probably eating ice cream.
That's very strange. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for letting me know. I don't know why that's happening.
I'll keep an eye on it. But, in a slightly lighter floor color environment, maybe that wouldn't have worked as well. But for me, it popped out really, really nicely. And I just really applaud the fact that this one was nice and clean. And it also appealed to me because as a cricketer who bats as badly as that guy, I had a little bit of a chuckle when I saw it. So it engaged me. It actually, which is difficult to do with some floor media, I've got to say. I know there's people out in my LinkedIn universe that really like floor media, and I know there's quite a few that don't. With floor media, the message and the color scheme and everything about it has to be right. It's not a case, in my opinion, of simply just doing it because that's the only thing that's available to you. If you're going to do it in a way that will be impactful, that will stand out. And I believe this one does.
So it depends what the color of the floor is. Is that what you're saying? As to how effective floor media is?
Yes. Well, the thing is, right, if you are doing interior decorating, right, you do things that are going to actually, go well with each other. They're going to stand out. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. So you actually do have to think about the physical environment where the point of sale is actually going to be. There is no point, for example, in a Woolworths, well, obviously they're using more electronic ticketing these days, but, a year ago, 2 years ago, it didn't make a hell of a lot of sense to do something that was yellow because it was drowned out by all the promotional tickets.
Yeah.
Things like that actually just need to be part of the consideration when you're actually planning and designing these things or briefing them.
What? Have you seen Regan's photo that's just popped up?
See, and now that stands out brilliantly, right? Because again, it's a good color contrast. I've seen quite a few of them in recent months that don't stand out because the colors just don't work with the environment that it's in.
I'm like, if you're going to do it, I'll go down that route personally. Hey, what's the? I know we discussed this from time to time, and it comes up, and I feel like the opinion is quite divided on this, but I also feel like people seem to be limited on being able to derive any results. It's one of those things where you can't easily determine if it was worth it or not because you do it as a package of other things, right? And so it becomes quite subjective as to, I don't really fancy that, or I think it's a great idea. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And you're right. It'd be very hard to break that apart and say, it was the aisle film that did it, or the floor media that did it, or the decal, or whatever it would be. The only way you're going to know that is through observation. And that's, as we all know, quite expensive, quite difficult to measure properly and so on. But look, for me, this all just worked. And it worked because it was just a really nice coming together of all the different elements that actually, stood out for me. And sorry, yeah, you go.
God, I was just going to ask, because Alison asked, what is it? What is the product that is on the floor media? She's asking.
Well, it's a Tip Top Moments products. It's the same as what is on the floor.
Is it a tub? Is a ice cream tub? Is it?
Yeah, ice cream tub. Yeah, ice cream tub.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting actually, because it's the isn't the floor standing unit some sort of Tip Top thing as well? Is that Tip Top bread?
But it's Tip Top breads. That's a different company.
Oh, good, right,
That's still
good, good,
testing.
good. Looks like it's just been stuck in front of a freezer cabinet that wasn't working anyway, but
No, that's
interesting.
actually a
Okay.
dial end unit, so they actually face it outwards.
Oh, right, I get you. Look at this, all this information.
Oh,
Another
what's
one.
that one
Thank
from
you.
you?
Who's this
Oh,
from
from
Emma?
Emma. What's that one there? Get a
Um,
vice into you. Ooh,
yeah.
nice.
What is that? Oh, a mango ice cream lolly thing. Right.
Yes,
Oh, there you go. So it's going on. It's going on in Frozen right now
I like it.
in Oz. Yeah. Somebody got the memo about Floor Media.
Yeah, if you're going to do it,
There's
go
a chance
large,
to
in my
win.
opinion.
Looks like they're trying to use some occasion-based cues. Yes. Got another one coming in from Regan. I can't wait to see this one. You've been on the scout for this stuff. It's not loading. Come on. I need to see it. Oh, here we go. Oh, Marks and Spencer's.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Yes, of course. This is not in many stores. I saw this. Did you see this? The Peppa Pig launch in in Coles, collab with Marks and Spencer's. I've seen a few threads on it and on LinkedIn, but I haven't actually seen any evidence of it in any stores. So I don't know if it is widespread or not.
Mm. But yes, it does.
Lost you.
Just answering Michael's comment, yes, it does 100% look like they were trying to use occasion-based cues in the in-store marketing, and which again, I think for a category like ice cream in particular, bang on, absolutely 100% bang on, because that store in particular is quite near a beach, and during summer months, there's lots of families coming in off the beach at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon looking for something, and that kind of activation is going to be just perfectly timed and perfectly placed to take advantage of that.
Mm, mm, mm.
It
Yeah, for
sounds so
sure, for
simple,
sure.
right? It sounds so simple, but occasion-based marketing, I don't see enough of it. I really don't see enough of it. Yeah.
No, I'd agree with you. I'd agree with you. And that's another great opportunity. And it's a bit like what did you plan to buy? Did you plan a specific brand, a repertoire? Were you planning based on price? Were you planning based on something else? There's a spectrum. There's a continuum. By the way, I finally got that up. The top scoring category for that particular measure, i.e., when I planned to buy the category, I planned around a repertoire, is 1 in 2 shoppers. And at the other end of the spectrum, it's down to like 1 in 4. So very big difference as you go from top to bottom. If you're interested in that occasion-based differentiation, what categories out of those 180, 190 are the ones where people are buying with an occasion in mind? That's something that we can help with. The other thing I was going to call out was just going right back to the beginning. We've seen this big move by Aldi, focus on price, focus on range, and in that post that I released yesterday, I really shed a light on the fact that there's a lot of call for more improvement around execution and delivery and product quality even. And so if you're going and having conversations at this sort of time with Aldi, now would be a great time to dig into what their shoppers are saying in your category and really just shed some light on, okay, yeah, we could go down that path. But as I pointed out, across the store, the differential between Aldi and a Coles and a Woolies on price points is as big as it's ever been. And actually, it's the gap on something like quality that has narrowed a lot. And that's something that I haven't heard talked about, but it could very well help you in your conversations and help them and get you into that togetherness sort of frame of mind. Anything else to say on the ice cream before we wrap up, Double A?
Only that, yes, that definitely was not me on that floor media. But don't ask me what my batting average is this season. It's not good.
What's your batting average this season?
It's not good.
All right. Well, people will think that we set this stuff up, but clearly we don't. All right. Well, good, good, not good, not good. Final question, folks. What is on your mind in the next 3 months that you'd like us to have a look at when it comes to shoppers? Put it in the chat. What's a big shopper question that you're struggling with right now that you'd like some support with right now? Let us know in the chat in the next sort of 3 minutes before we wrap up, and then we will keep an eye out. So Andrew and I will keep an eye out for that stuff if we see examples, then it will point us in that direction, and we can touch on that in the sessions that are coming up, which will be very soon, in fact. So make sure you're following us, because these are just 3 of the examples. You still punching one out every week, punching a post out every week?
Yep, still doing it.
Is it a Thursday or a Friday?
It's a Friday.
It's a Friday. The Friday fact from Andrew. So that's definitely good value. And I put them out as well. I don't have the same regimen as you do, Andrew, but I put them out as well, and people get a lot of value. So there's a whole lot more there to be delved into. Next, Insights from the Isles. Not 100% sure about this date. I've got a feeling that might be when the Easter holidays and the school holidays are, April the 9th. So bookmark it for now, and then we will let you know as we get nearer the time if it's actually going to be there. Thank you very much for some questions. Does consumer promotion messaging work for in-store marketing? Okay, interesting. All right, well, let's have a think about that. What is happening in premium space? Is it working, or are people too price sensitive? Well, that's a great question. And this goes back to that idea of being able to identify value. We've commented on this a lot. I comment on this in liquor in particular in Australia all the time. There is an undeniably significant minority, perhaps, but they still exist, the proportion of shoppers that are looking for the cues to give them the pass, if you like, to go and buy something more premium. They want it. They're looking for it. If we can give them the confidence to do that, they will go and do it. So that definitely exists, and we'll keep an eye out for that. All right, keep them coming. We've got about another minute or so to go. Andrew, I will see you soon, and everyone else, if they don't see you before, we'll see you maybe on April the 9th.
Absolutely, yeah. So I just checked. That is after Easter. So I think we're okay.
All right, terrific. Good. Don't worry, folks. We'll send you all of the appropriate guidance around when the next date is, so you don't miss it. Jump on, follow us. Thanks for being here. What should we follow up with? How about top 10 in Australia and New Zealand for what plan to buy? Since we were talking about that, stick a plan in the chat now if you would like to receive that. Okay, top 10 for what plan to buy. By brand repertoire, we'll have to add that in, but that's fine. Don't worry, people will get that. If you want that, stick a plan or stick a yes in the chat now, and that's a wrap. We will see you, if we don't speak to you before, in about 8 weeks' time. Matt, thank you. Take care. See you soon.
Thanks, everybody. Good to see you all.